Okay, that's more like it. Out here along the Bow River by Carsland, autumn is back in business. A week ago, it was snowy and cold. Now, warm Chinook winds and melting snow and ice. Out here in the forest along the river, it kind of seemed like that cold snap locked autumn in place, as if the snow and the freezing temperatures just kind of stopped everything, kept autumn from advancing. Rose hips were bright red, like they are for most of the year. But behind them, green leaves. And they complemented all the tans and browns and ambers. There was even some green left in the cottonwood leaves, although they'd obviously been frozen. Though it was melting fast, there was still a bit of snow around. I watched this big muley buck lead his harem through the trees. The girls paid more attention to me than he did. And just like in the open parts of the forest along the river valley, there was still a bit of snow in the fields. These geese weren't bothered by it. But along the river itself, there really wasn't much at all. There was a bit of ice on the shady side. But this duck just swam as far as it could and then walked the rest of the way. But for the most part, the snow and ice was just melting. I left the river valley and kept on going east, and the further east I went, the less snow there was. These horses were walking through crunchy dry grass on the edge of the Siksika Nation. And nearby, over on Arrowwood Creek, this blue heron found open water to hunt in. The wind was blowing strong out of the west, and every gust seemed to eat a little bit more snow. From the town of Arrowwood, I could see all the way across the Siksika Nation to the town of Glician. The air was just sparklingly clear. It was getting later in the afternoon now, and the swans and geese were out in the fields feeding. Though that early blast of winter seemed to push a lot of the big flocks through, there are still a lot of birds moving around. These geese were over by Carsland. But even though the weather didn't feel very wintry, the days are getting shorter. And by 5 in the afternoon, the moon was already pretty high in the sky. But at least that blast of winter is gone, and autumn seems to be back again. It might not last very long, but for now, fall has unfallen.